Okay. All right, we're here with a regional deck profile tournament report. Of course, it's going to be a long one. So, Tom, of course, is going to be entertaining us with his deck that you can see on screen. I'll upload this to Dropbox, so if you have Dev Pro, you can download it, try it out for yourself, etc. So, Tom, you want to begin? Run us through your deck choices.
Right. So, do you want me to just because the list is there, so I don't really need to go into the standard stuff.
Yeah, that's
So,
fine. Just talk about the important shit. First of all, I guess you could begin. Why did you play the dark version to begin with altogether?
well, I tried out the dark version at the beginning, and I liked it quite a bit. But like, obviously, drawing the non-pendulum cards can be a bit of a problem because obviously they don't contribute to the best monsters in your extra deck. So I did cut them for like a week or two to try out the normal pendulum version, and but like I didn't play the Ariadne because I still refuse just to play that because although like it can like help reinforce itself with trap cards, you have to realize that you're also playing like so you're playing a bunch of normal monsters and then you're playing a bunch of cards that are effectively normal monsters, and then on top of that you're having to play extra cards which are trap cards, which are all based like although the normal monsters like can attribute to your combo, they're not the best combo cards, so they sort of make your hands more lackluster. And by drawing trap cards along with those cards, you're making your hand even more lackluster. And I just didn't want to be put into those situations. So I played a version where I took out the dark monsters, so I put in like an extra vector and stuff, and just more pendulum monsters, so that when I like summon all my guys from my hand, I just have more cards to do it. But the problem that I have with that is, although I'm making it so that I can do my plays, my boards tended to be like more they tended to be more lackluster than when I did have the dark version. So when I went back to the dark version, like cards like Summoner Monk and just made the plays a lot more insane because when you summon when you do a monk and you're trying to unbrick your hands, you can put up a scale as well so that you put Pendulum Sorcerer and the scale, so you get your both the pendulum scales that you need to unbrick your hand. Along with that, then you have those two coming back along with any card that you search from Monkey Board and any other level 4s in your hand. So and with Zephyros bouncing back Monkey Board, that just it favors you a lot more when you're grinding in the mirror match as well, because once they've gotten rid of their Monkey Board, it's kind of hard to reproduce a scale. But with the fact that you don't feel that you have to pop your Monkey Board anymore because you can just bounce it with Zephyros, it favors you in that matchup. And then plus obviously it also the fact that going Monk going into Armageddon Knight or just summoning Armageddon Knight with Shadow Dragon to pop floodgates and whatever in the main deck or whatever is also pretty neat.
How come you didn't? Oh wait. So first of all, did you go first or second?
I lost most of my dice rolls, so it was.
But what did you choose to go?
I would choose to go first.
Okay. I think like.
Do you want me to go? Do you want me to go into? So the first thing you mentioned was about the guitar turtle, right?
I was just joking about that. Like, oh, no one's gonna believe me when I say 3 good turtles the best, but whatever.
Oh,
I could ask about the painful decision. I feel like that's just a shit card. Like you either need to play it in multiple so you see it, or it's just bad at one. I feel.
Why is that?
It's like you need to see it in your opening hand so you can feel your Dynastor plays, and then like if you draw it like mid game or something, it's probably gonna be dead at that stage, or like worst case scenario like late game it's like just not going to be useful. Like adding a vanilla to your hand, it just doesn't seem good. Like you want to open it so you can get your Dynastor plays going, I feel.
Right, but adding a second one it doesn't make it so that you're so much more consistently going to draw it.
Well,
and what I'm doing by only maining one copy is I'm making it so that I can guarantee myself that I'm never going to draw multiples, because drawing multiples is going to be it's going to be worse than if I open
Why would you playing the one only mean that you why would playing one why would playing two what am I doing with this? Like playing you want to see it in your first hand. Like the argument is that you want to see it in your first hand. So why would playing one not have lower chances of seeing in your opening hand than
I understand that, but what I'm doing is by making this, I'm making it so that there's no possible chance of me opening multiple, because multiple is horrible in itself.
No, yeah, I understand that, but I think it's because the idea is that if you open this, even if you open multiple, I think the argument for opening this card as a you want to open it so that by looking at your list, you have 5 vanillas, right? If you open this
Right.
card, then you're able to extract like 2 of the 5, where it reduces dead draws. And then mathematically, it's very improbable that you will open multiples if you play 2 in a 40 card deck.
No, I understand that, but with the chance of like the consistency of the deck as it is, I don't want to add in another variable that's going to do that. Plus, like
Yeah.
if you look at my list, like I'm playing 1 Painful Decision and 1 Central Card Screen, right? Both of those
Yep.
were partly to do with the fact that it's like I don't want to open up multiples of either of these, but it's also the fact that like if you look at my list, everything else is like pretty close to it. Like double Silver Claw may be a bit questionable, but it helps combo with Lust the Pendulum, so you have extra level 4s to summon. And then everything else is like the 3 Instant Fusion. I guess people could say that I may not play Instant Fusion, but with playing the Dark build and playing the fact that I'm playing all of these extra cards, it's making it so that I can do increased ceiling
Yu-Gi-Oh!
combos.
Sucks.
Thanks, Colin.
How come you played like this Dark Engine, but you didn't play like sorry, not Dark Engine. Where was I going with this? Yeah, you played like 2 Silver Claws and stuff, but you didn't play Beast Eyes, I think.
I think I honestly I probably forgot about it. I don't know what it does.
Beast Eyes, to be honest though, if I had the decision, I would play Triple Dynasty before I played Beast Eyes. Like I'm trying, my list is I'm trialing an Ariadne list which doesn't play. Like I've currently cut King of the Pharaohs and thing.
Does Beast Eyes do anything relevant?
Not it hasn't come up in testing. There hasn't been a point where I've
What
needed
does
it.
it do?
It basically is a contact fusion between a Dark Dragon type and a Beast type monster. So Beast Eyes, no, so Silver Claw and Vector, and then it's got 3k attack. And then when it attacks and kills something, you can deal damage equal to the attack of the original attack of the Beast type monster used to fusion summon it. So it's used in a really aggressive perspective in the fact that
it's literally Volcasaurus when it destroys something, so it's there for like big burn.
It's like Flame Wing. It's like Flame Wing.
No,
but like the other way you could perceive it is that it's just another level 8 for like Felgrand or number 38.
Okay.
That's the only one of the reasons why I'm playing it as well. It's the fact that it can potentially make pushes.
I'd honestly just rather play a 3rd Dinosaur than that.
I'm trying that. I'm doing that. I'm playing 3 Dinosaur, and I'm playing Beast Eyes.
Why did you play Soul Charge?
Soul Charge helps it so that in particular positions you can easily come back into the game, and it increases your ceiling again.
Have you built this deck to go first or second?
I built it so that it can go first. It can come back in the game going second, but it's obviously you still want to just go first.
I don't see how that's good though.
Why?
Because you're trying to do both. Like, why not just focus on one? You know, like make a going second deck or just make a going first deck. Because now you've got a deck that's kind of good at everything, but not really it doesn't really excel at both. Because obviously this deck isn't going to put out better boards than a standard Ariadne can do.
The deck excels at whatever it does because it has a Soul Charge every turn. It basically does what the other deck does as well. Like that's not really like the Ariadne version can it can do well for turn 1 because it can add trap cards to it, but like it's just going to excel. Like when we get into when we're not into the first couple of turns, we're just going to be doing the exact same things over and over again to each other anyway. It's not really going to be that much of a difference.
Wasn't Monk kind of shit for you? Because I feel like most of the people I see who play Monk in this... Most of the people I say that play Monk in this build tend to play like a lot more spells. Because 16, I think, is how many there are here. It's still a lot of spells. But it's like... You will get hands where, you kind of need all your spells are good, like you don't really want to discard any of them.
It's also a dart for Mass Change.
Yeah. How was the Dark Law? Did you see it much at all?
I didn't see it that much, but when I did, like I summoned it against Infernoids and I summoned it against Mermail, so it blew them out.
That's pretty cool. I like the idea because it's very good against like.
One thing I do have to say before Matthew Mills goes on about it is that they ruled for this event that I could use pendulums for Mass Change.
Oh wait, you can't
send it. Yeah, you can. use it on pendulum.
He came up to me after the event and was like, "I just spoke to this head DM admin, and he said that you can't."
Okay, that's not true
What
because
is it?
it
What does it say on the
targets
card?
as a cost. It doesn't send to the graveyard as a cost. It targets as cost. So you can 100% use mass change on a pendulum monster.
Okay, I thought so, but
Yeah.
Weird.
What was it? Yeah, like Mass Change second or Dark Law is also pretty good, especially in the mirror match as well. But I only
Yep.
ideally for going first because like the Ariadne build does bank heavily. Its flaw is that it banks heavily on like stuff like Wavering Eyes to be resolved,
yeah,
or like even something like Sorcerer as well. You know, like where it wants to like pop something to gain a search or anything like that, and like Dark Law really exploits that. So that's pretty cool.
uh,
One of the sorry, just one thing. Like the one thing that like really bugged me about the Dark Pendulum list, which like I felt I really couldn't get behind it, was because like it doesn't have like. Although I think this list is different from it's obviously different from what you sent me before. Um, One of the things I just couldn't get behind about the Dark Pendulum was the fact that half of the monsters or a third of the monsters aren't pendulum monsters, and like
yeah, that was a problem. But like, I
yeah,
feel like I've honestly cut it down because I've put other cards in instead. But
yeah,
I understand what you're saying there. But I feel like when you just do a pure pendulum build, your combos can't be like they feel lackluster because the dark monsters like add something because it gives you when you pendulum summoning guys, it honestly just gives you extra level 4s to do something with because
I think
every single card that the other pendulum decks that are using that would help you combo off with stuff I'm already playing, so I'm actually just
yeah.
adding other cards in that don't attribute to any further combos like for advancing my monster game board, so that's why like the darks like help in that sense.
It's good because what I like about it is that like it definitely allows you to compress and like really like focus what you want from the deck because like
Yeah.
you're able to like play a lot more powerful options like by playing non-pendulum monsters like with the ability to bin stuff with Armageddon, like you can like use instant fusion, which is like a really powerful card. Um, the only flaw that comes with that though is the fact that when you then look at the extra deck, and then you see like you're playing the 7 Draco Slayer cards. In addition to something like number 38, then you got to consider the Nordens and the Dark Law. It really starts to make it difficult as to what you're going to play. And then, like, hence, as a result, you end up like sideboarding 5 extra deck cards. It becomes like, you know, a matter of.
Honestly, with the pure pendulum build, I was still doing the same thing because I feel like the extra deckers. You need more than 15 cards.
Yeah. But that's what I mean, like, because now when you're playing like
No,
Norden, you have to like.
Yeah, no, but Norden, like, I honestly think that instant fusion is 100% correct anyway.
Yeah, like it definitely gives you more options. It's just one of the things that I find odd was like, you know, in other decks, if that have come before this, I've been able to use like instant fusion. If we say Shaddolls, for example, like they've obviously suffered with the same sort of issue with extra deck space, but like a deck that tries to use instant fusion as aggressively probably needs to play more rank 4s so that the Norden is what's the word? Like when you have an instant fusion, you know that you have a play for it. You know you're not going to burn out of targets. I mean, you've got one.
But
Realistically, you've
instant
got
fusion,
2 or 3 targets.
instant fusion, instant fusion isn't just for that though. It's the fact that you can also then bring back your pendulum monsters. You can use them for synchros with luster and stuff, and then you're able to at the end of your turn be able to bring out another level 4 so that you can overlay with Norden. Like
Yeah,
Norden isn't just for the instant rank 4. It's also so that you can bring back some of your pendulums so that you can further your plays with the Dynasty cards. No, with the Draco Slayer cards.
yeah.
I'm not sure how I feel about mass change in this deck, just because I feel like it's the same reason for not playing Twin Twister. Like you need all your cards, and then like to be able to discard, and then on top of that, out your opponent's board, like by keeping Dark Law up. So like castelling Burning Abyss Dante's and then banishing the materials and stuff is like really cool and stuff. But I just feel like in a real game situation, the cost seems really heavy.
I think the concept, if I'm
Sure,
not
but
mistaken, comes.
in that instance, like the cards that are going to be used in my deck that are going to out them, I'm playing like I wouldn't play any more of them anyway. Like they're either maximized or they're their number because you don't want to draw them so frequently. So like there aren't many cards that I put in my main deck, especially along with all of these cards, to make it so that they're going to be for that one circumstance. So regardless of that, these two cards would just be like blanks in those situations anyway, so they're not going to make a massive difference. But the fact is that if I do go first against those matchups, it's a massive blowout. And in a lot of other circumstances against other rogue decks, it's just a massive blowout that doesn't matter about turn one.
Yeah, I think another like the concept behind it is, it reminds me of cards like Retaliating Sea towards the end of like Necroz's tenure, was that you could summon a Retaliating Sea, and people would argue against it by using Trishula as an example. But the thing about these sort of cards is the fact that whilst it puts you in a somewhat less advantageous position, your opponent has to put themselves at such a disadvantage just to out it, that you're able to sort of capitalize on that sort of neg. So like if they try and like they have to go through such extreme lengths to like out a Dark Law that without Raigeki or Dark Hole,
You're going to win the game.
yeah, it puts them at such a deficit.
I don't think I need to go into the extra deck that much, unless you want to go into. Do you want to stay in the main deck anymore, or?
The only question I have about the extra deck is like, did you really need the second Magister over Castel? Like even like I played the Ariadne deck like a lot. I took it to a regional. It just never came up, like the second Paladin. It just never came up. Maybe I was like playing it wrong or something, but I feel like it definitely could, especially in the dark deck. Like you probably don't need it. You need it even less than like the Ariadne one. I don't know.
Right. One of the things I'll bring up is the reason. So I play Diamond Direwolf, right? And that is a card that's like just like better than Castel, right? Because not only does it deal with cards that, like, sure, it gets it off the board, right? But it gets rid of all of the problems that Castel's going to be doing, whilst also then being able to get rid of back rows as well, like face down back rows, which is just like a lot better in my view for pretty much every single situation. And although I could play Castel instead of a second Magister, having the access to Castel in like more in the heavy majority grand scheme of things isn't going to make much of a difference. Where there are going to be a lot more. I feel like second Magister happens a lot more in the sense of if I need the Magister, it's going to be something that's going to help me bring me back or like make a big board so that I can then win the game. And I feel like having the second Magister in to like win games is a lot more relevant than needing the Castel some of the times. Because most of the time that I'm going to be outing something anyway, Magister can enable me to then make an Ignista afterwards, so that I can still out the problem.
The only other thing I would potentially disagree with, because I would definitely main Dweller, especially with the resurgence of Burning Abyss. I feel like it was very wrong of you to not main the Dweller. I probably would maybe have not played Nightmare. It's good against Burning Abyss, but it's not good against like the mirror match anymore, I think.
Nightmare wasn't as good as I thought it was.
Yeah, because as soon as I found out that you can contact fuse your face down monsters into Dynastar, I just didn't. Nightmare completely lost its appeal for me.
One of the questions, which one of the things I've been bringing up about the deck as of late, is the relevance of King of the Feral Imps, but obviously in your list you're playing Mass Chameleon. Obviously, so you want to make
it's basically another way to get your Draco Slayer engine.
To make what? Sorry.
It's another way to get access to your Draco Slayer engine.
Yeah. So but do you think? Did you find King of the Feral Imps necessary? Well, at all?
Well, if I wasn't maining it, I'd be siding because I use Exiva Palamuro.
I think it's good in this deck.
Right.
Because you have instant fusions and Soul Child. I think King of the Feral Imps is decent in this version.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely don't think it's relevant in the Ariadne build. Like everyone who plays the deck always says, it's necessary to fetch a high scale. But I always think that the ways that you always facilitate a rank 4, usually come from a good place, and then if you're in a bad position or you have to use like Rescue Rabbit to get to it, then you're just putting yourself in an even worse position, all for the sake of a high scale, which seems pointless.
So moving
no,
on
the
to the side deck, I guess. We don't want to spend too long on this because we want to get to your tournament report as well. Side deck, I think I like most of it. The only thing I disagree with is the Chimera Techs and Dries. I feel like System Down is just infinitely better. Like, it deals with the graveyard, deals with the field. Literally, it can be countered. They can't strike it. They can't, like, warning the summon of Dry. I just feel like activate System Down, blowout. Like, it's just so fucking broken. I just can't see why you would play this over System Down.
Well, you can Chimera Tech the. If I'm not mistaken, I might be wrong about this, but you can Chimera Tech the big quantum guy, right?
I'd probably.
I believe so. It's a summoning condition. It's not a card effect. So yeah.
Yeah, that, and the fact it's also a level 4 monster, so it can also continue to make rank 4s for you.
Yeah, like, I do get the rank 4 thing, but it's like, it's just, I feel like System Down is so much more better.
I guess that's a bit marginal, but it was to make it so that it was across the board, like something of relevance.
The other thing I feel like shouldn't have been in here was the Quantal guy, because what happens is that, let's say, ideal situation, you're staring down Magnus, so you pendulum summon 4 monsters, you overlay into the Quantal guy, you Book of Moon, well, you don't Book of it, you summon it with the guys, right, and then they spin it with Magnus, and then you make it again, and then you Book of Moon the Magnus, and then it's like, what do you do from there? Like, you need, like, instant fusion to, like, come back?
But if you're saying, wait, are you saying that, so I summon it and they bounce the Magnus guy, right?
Yeah, Magnus will bounce this on summon because...
Sure.
Because it's because it's affected by everything. It's unaffected by everything except Quantals.
No, I understand that, but the reason for it is so that I have something so that I can force it at first, because in those scenarios I need to then like it's one of those scenarios where I don't want to have to go into it without having outs, and I need to have a waste, and so that once I force the effect, the idea is I then make a number 38 with another guy, so that I can hit over it.
How do you make that though? Like you pendulum 4.
I mean, it probably is asking a lot, but the idea was I needed a card that's going to force its effect the first time, so that then I can make a guy so that I can hit over it.
And the only change I would have made is I definitely would have played the third Maxi, and probably just cut the Quantal guy altogether and probably just take the loss to Magnus. You probably could have played like a single Kaiju and put in 3 Maxis and hope they give you 20 cards when they try and make it and draw one of the Kaijus, perhaps. I don't know. I just feel like it's not worth siding for that matchup. I don't know. It's just pointless because we don't have Lightning. It's not even worth trying, I feel like, in Europe to out that thing. And other than that, yeah, the Dweller in the main, definitely. I mained 2 Dweller for my regional. Like, that's the difference between our decks.
Right. Is that everything?
Yeah,
I'm not looking.
I mean, I think that's kind of everything, I guess. If you want to tell us about your day, then.
Oh my god! Right. Okay. So this is gonna make you guys laugh even more, because my regional, after going through all the savages of all the 3 regionals I've had so far, my rounds, which people become like, oh, this is probably why I topped and stuff. But I had like a really easy day. That is really easy. Really, really easy. So round 1 I faced Phantom Knight, Burning Abyss, and I lose to a 50-50, where I know he has Fogblade, I think it is, and he has that set with another card, and I have an Eccentric Archfiend to pop one of them, and I don't know what the other card is, so I do a dice roll to see which one I should hit, and then I hit the Fogblade, and then the other card turned out to be a Solemn Strike, so that sucked. So I lost round 1, and then next round I face Despots.
The standard 0-1 deck.
Yeah, so he then opens Machine Duplication both times with the guy searches, but he clogs his board, so...
This is funnier because Tom has been talking about banning Machine Dupe for years, and like, he plays against it twice in the regional.
But yeah, no, so he Machine Dupes, clogs his board, and then I do Pendulum stuff game 1 and just beat him. And then game 2, I summon Cyber Dragon dry and make it a Chimera attack for 6,000. Yeah. Round 3, I face against Synchro Fusionist.
Oh god.
So he doesn't have enough combo cards. Game 1. Game 2, he summons Naturia Beast when he doesn't have that much combos, and then game 3, I just open up like a big board of like number 38 and a load of cards. Oh, and I make a Naturia Beast as well. So yeah, I just win. Then round 4, I face Mermails. I lose game 1 because I don't have Dweller. I win game 2 because I do have Dweller. And then game 3, I win because I have Dweller and number 83. Highlight of this one is in game 3 when I have that board, he plays over my Max C, makes a Nightmare Shark, tries to attack directly, so I use number 38 to redirect it to my guy. He then main plays Raigeki. I'm like, I'll negate it. And he goes, wait, no, you can't do that and the redirect effect. That would be too broken. I was like, read the card. That's what you can do.
Oh my god.
That would be too broken, he says in 2016.
Round 5, I sit down and my opponent goes, oh yeah, you got an extra deck. I might play this game then. I was like, okay, damn it, I shouldn't have bought out. I said to him in banter, no, they're tokens. But he was like, no, you're not allowed to do that. I was like, damn it. So then he literally just sits there.
Game loss.
And then, no, he literally just sits there, and then as soon as we're about to play, he ticks that I win and drops. He's obviously heard of me and knows that I'm too good.
Wait, what?
What?
He said to me that he had to go to some party or something and that he had to leave right there, so I got a free win.
Nice, nice.
Round 6, I faced Psyframes.
British regionals.
And I savaged him 2-0 because it's Psyframes.
Did he do anything good at all? Like, was there any highlights to that match?
Literally, I just kept on poking him, and whenever he...
Oh, did you just not play? Did you just do the standard attack with one guy?
Yeah, so I just make it play around so that if he had just do the casual, you get rid of you attack the little guy when he summons a guy, and you let the normal guy banish so that when they've run out of all of their guys, they can't play anymore. And because he didn't really have the field spell up for much, so whenever he did have it, I'd eccentric it game 2, and then I drew my MSTs. Game 1 I'd eccentric it, and then game 2 I was drawing my MSTs. So whenever he'd even have the field spell up and he'd do something, I'd just chain MST so he couldn't synchro. So that literally just doing that sort of thing, so that he couldn't synchro and couldn't do anything. So yeah, it was pretty easy because I learned how to play against that deck when Necros were good. And then round 7 I played Infernoids, and that was the final round. It was really weird because I was like, why the fuck am I playing Infernoids? And to top it off, the guy sitting next to me on table 1 was playing Infernoids as well. So I was like, what the fuck is this? But yeah, Darklaw just won me. Darklaw won me game 1. Then game 2, he won because he was able to hit over the Darklaw with Infernoid guys, and then I wasn't drawing that well, so I couldn't out hit. And then as we're going into game 3, he starts he power shuffles his deck, and then I'm just sitting there shuffling.
Oh,
and
drama.
Then he power shuffles it again. And like, I'm just like, what the fuck is he doing? Like, why is he power shuffling it twice? Like, we're going into game 3. Is he trying to go into time or something? And then he goes in front of me. I can't. I think I'm missing 3 cards. And then he literally, right in front of me, counts out his deck. But he doesn't do it face down. So he's literally showing me every single card in his deck. And I'm just like, why are you showing me your deck, sort of thing? And then he's like, yeah, I'm missing 3 cards from my deck. And he then starts looking for it to try and see if he puts in piles of 10, realizes that he's missing 3, and then he looks through to see what he's missing. And as he's doing this, I call a judge over, and then I'm like, well, I don't know if he's been playing a 37 card deck for any of the other games, and so then he got a game loss. Well, I think he got DQ'd.
Oh, interesting.
Oh my god.
So that was my easy Bournemouth regional for 5th place.
Hey, no debt box.
I know, I got savaged out of it.
So yeah, this has been your extensive deck analysis tournament report by Tom. 5th place, Bournemouth Regional. So as I said, I'll upload this to Dropbox if you want to play this on Dev Pro and try it for yourself. So thanks for watching, everyone, and I'll see you later. Okay, back to the